water today. Who are you?
Man, I know. Hey, we're growing, we're hydrating, we're watching the Game Changer finale. It's an intro, that's for sure. If you've ever wanted to see Jordan play D&D in the same game as some of your favorite D&D players, guess what? You're in luck. The Nonstop Player Crawl is taking place this Saturday, June 8th, and Jordan's playing in round 1, which starts at 10 a.m. Central Time. And Dropout Drop-In listeners and viewers, y'all, we're going to turn up for this one because all of the donations that are made, either in advance or during the stream, are going to Trans Lifeline. The whole stream will be taking place from 10 a.m. until 10 p.m. Central on the Unprepared Casters Twitch. All the info will be down below. You'll see me in the comments for sure. And if you're tuning in, make sure to say hey in the comments. And yes, I am recording this as I'm editing because we had so much fun recording this episode that we forgot all the things that we wanted to record together. So I'm recording this so that y'all know to turn up. We'll see you on Saturday. And now let's get back to the episode talking about Game Changers finale and the premiere of Thousandaires. Welcome back to the Dropout Drop-In. This week we're talking the Game Changer finale, part 1. And an incredible new show that started airing last week, Thousandaires, and we're going to break both down. Jordan, welcome back. As always, thrilled to see you. Marissa,
See you.
welcome back. Thrilled to have you back on the panel, our Game Changer expert over here. And, you know, I kind of feel like Thousandaires is a show specifically for you as well. I feel like it's very Marissa coded.
It really is. I was so pleasantly surprised. I was, every new show, change is hard. But I'm so happy with Thousandaires so far.
Yeah,
and Jordan, you're happy with Thousandaires?
Loved Thousandaires. I will say, it's always interesting. Like my wife and I have similar senses of humor, but it takes more to get her to like really enjoy something. And I was noticing, like in Thousandaires, it's like I don't think she's into this. And then we got to Giovanni's dress, and ooh boy, was she on board! Like the moment that dress came out, my wife sold on that show.
We are going to have to spend 10 minutes talking just about Giovanni's dress. I have so much to say. I have so much to say.
There's so much to talk about.
There's so much to unpack. But let's start with the Game Changer finale, which we push our recording date one day. It's Tuesday. We usually record on Mondays because this is kind of the story of the moment, is the fact that they're parodying the circle.
Sam said legally distinct from the circle.
Yes, legally distinct from the circle. We predicted this, obviously, as did the world last week when the initial trailer dropped.
When Sam was like, it's the circle. Then we were like, hey, I think Sam's onto something.
Perhaps a clue. We were really astute last week. And something that we did do is we made some bold predictions, Jordan, for what we thought was coming this week. And I went back and rewatched last week's episode, as can all of you. If you want to hear our predictions in real time, there's a timestamp in the description of last week's episode. But I thought we would go through what those predictions were and see how close or far we were. Because some of them we were like scarily close
This
on.
is very exciting. Marissa, you are going to get to be able to live react to hearing them for the first time in the same way that I am, because I have no memory of them.
It's true. I'm feeling bad. I haven't heard last week's episode, and now I'm just going to give you an IRL reaction.
An IRL. Yeah. I think it's perfect.
I also had my own predictions, so I'm excited to hear if any of them aligned.
Okay, so we'll go through this list, and as we go, feel free to chime in with what your list was, Marissa. I'm saying these all in the order that they were said in the episode, Jordan. So this is sequential. The first prediction that was made came from you, and it was about Vic, Lou, and Jacob coming in because there had been a clip of them holding like clipboards that had a circle on them. So we haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, we still don't know what that picture is from. If it was just prep for Sam Says, which seems weird that you would have a file folder. I feel like there's another twist coming next week.
So that's a big old question mark. Standing by it. I agree in that I don't think the cast specific hijinks are over. I feel like
I was so confident. Actually, I do remember that prediction because I was so confident when like Steven popped up. I was like, I know who it is. I got this one. I nailed it. And then obviously the reveal, I was like, that wasn't even a little bit close.
That was a great reveal. That was a phenomenal get for Dropout. Like, obviously the comedy world is small, but like as a viewer, it was felt very at home to see like, why haven't we seen more from Eric and Dropout properties? It just really felt great to see that. Marissa, were you shocked? Jordan, were you shocked?
Elizabeth, I don't know who Eric Wareham is. I had to Google him. I'm being so for real with you. I thought it was gonna be someone of that ilk for sure. Couldn't have told you who that man was though, so
I very much was shocked, did know who he was, and saw someone today put on like a compilation of the many times that they made rat jokes on Tim and Eric, apparently like a long-running bit that they did, like rats off to you, and it's like, oh, this, did they design rat fishing because they got him first? Like...
Mm-hmm. Very much what came first, the chicken or the egg? Did they say they wanted to build something around Eric or vice versa? Very offended, Marissa, as you've been the recipient of one of my favorite gifts of all time, which is Eric's mind blow. You know that meme? Oh, it's like my favorite meme of all time. Yes, that's him. You're so lucky we're not on the old software we used to use for the other podcast, because I would have just kicked you right off the call. It used to be one of my favorite bits on our other shows. Anytime anyone said anything, I'd just take them right off the screen and continue on as if they were never here. But on Riverside, I have not figured out how to do that bit yet. So Marissa, you're going to have to just continue to hang out with us.
Listen, the second he showed up, I was like, oh no. Because I knew we were doing this today. I was like, I'm going to have to admit that I don't know who
this is. Very, very funny. But you know what? I'm sure there are people out there that did not recognize him on first stab out of context.
In my Discord, people were like, hey, can someone explain to me who this was? And I was like, yeah. I'm 41 years old. I know who it is.
I can name that, man. Yeah. I do feel like specifically, like, I don't know how much is translated down to like Gen Z around like Tim and Eric content, but like Tumblr early 2010s, like they ate it up. So I feel like anyone that was in that demographic should have a baseline for who he is. But anyway, a great get, and I'm excited to actually see him in the coming episodes because he only was revealed at the end of this one. Let's go on to our second prediction, though, which came from me. People playing as other Dropout cast members was one of the big conversations we had.
Technically correct.
And I followed that by saying Grant O'Brien playing himself would make sense.
That's what I thought would happen. I thought Grant was going to absolutely play himself. Okay.
I was shocked when he said that out loud and then did not follow through on the other side of it. That was big shock to me. Also surprising that nobody else picked to play Grant O'Brien, because I feel like he is such like a distinct character that would be easy to buy into. However, we did predict, Jordan, that there would be a Brennan impersonation.
Oh,
You've made that prediction, so big check mark there. I followed it with Brennan not playing as himself would be the obvious choice. So playing as, like, we were going back and forth between would Brennan choose to play himself and try and fool people or pick something different. Obviously, Brennan is not playing as himself, so my prediction did not come true, but you did accurately predict that someone would pick Brennan from the cast to play. And we made a lot of guesses about who could be in the mix as a guest, who would be in the mix as someone that you could play as. Trap, Murph, Emily, Iffy, BDG, Siobhan. I brought up Hank Green and like periphery dropout folks. Raph, Jess Ross, Vic, Lou, Jacob. Like we named the whole cast.
We thought they would be playing human beings and not bugs with big asses. We didn't know the premise of the show yet.
Adjustable side table walnut was not on the radar at all during last week's episode.
That giant list that you, other than Hank Green and I think BDG, those people all were guesses by someone last night of like, I think this person is Raph, etc. Like,
absolutely correct. We made some guesses around who was going to be voted out, and specifically you guessed that Grant would be the first to go out, and Grant was not the first to go out, but he was number 2. And I did say that he would go out very early, so I think we were right around like understanding Grant would not last in this environment. He would give himself away too fast, and sure enough, he did. He gave himself away immediately as soon as the DMs opened. Oh, so funny. And then the last prediction that we made was that there would be like additional people not in that initial list who would be coming in and also playing. So we made the prediction that of the people we knew were coming, there would be more to unfold. And I think obviously we were correct in terms of literally there is a player number 8, which we thought would be happening. But I think let's hold some room for what's to come, see if other people are going to be looping in from the studio or what may happen.
I wonder if the 3 panel is that they are the judges of who's the best character.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like that's not a thing Sam is deciding on his own. That doesn't feel like the way how Sam would want to play the game. It feels like you'd give that to someone else. And having like little commentary from Lou, Jacob, and Vic in a second episode where you're revealing more of the behind the scenes, I feel like that would be fun. Look, I have to hold on to that being a thing that exists. I made such a bold prediction and backed it up with photographic evidence.
You know what? I do think that the studio itself, the Game Changer studio, is not out of the picture yet. Like, we're very much not in the Game Changer studio. We've talked in previous episodes of the Dropout Drop-In about how attached they are to the studio. And I think I even said like I'd love to see them break out of the studio and shoot in other locations. So I'm not convinced that this specific show is going to lend itself entirely to a new venue. I think there's going to be a drawback, and perhaps that is the drawback, that there's cast that's being filmed, doing other things, or picking the winners in there, or maybe they'll have to go back to the studio for the big reveal. Who's to say? Marissa, what's your thought on a studio versus hotel?
Yeah, I mean, do you think we have like a bingo situation where there's like a second tier of like, it feels like there would be like an audience panel that's sort of watching this show, this version of the circle as it's happening. I feel like that could live in like a green room type situation.
Jordan, what do you think?
I mean, Sam's in the studio. I mean, I guess they technically didn't have to film that the way. I mean, they probably filmed it later with Sam like talking from the studio. But I mean, they have Sam in the studio. It feels wild that they didn't give him his own room to be like, look, Sam's just in a room at the hotel with all of you, and we're going to set up the whole studio to function today as well, unless they're going to expand on it in some way.
Yeah, I know it's like within the game of the circle that like, you know, the host is just in narration, but it is kind of interesting to see like Sam interact in the chat and then in voiceover after the fact, but not to actually really see him involved in the episode. It's a little interesting. Mm-hmm. What magic is he doing behind the scenes? Where is he?
It is nice to see Sam in the portraits on the wall, and a little clap for the set design of this episode.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
A big clap.
Everybody give a little clap.
Yes.
It's
so good.
I want to go to there. You know that meme? I want to go to there.
Yeah.
And shout out to Chloe Badner. I don't know if running the team, but like posted, hey, this wasn't green screen, by the way. We did all of this, which I never thought it was green screen, but I guess people were, because it's so good, people were like, well, obviously they didn't build this, but yeah, incredible work.
And incredible specificity to all of the people going into the rooms. I feel like not only is it a reflection of who we know, but it's also unpacking things in all of the characters and in all of the cast members, seeing them in these spaces and the color palettes and the textures and the greenery or lack thereof and the specificity of the snacks. Like seeing Brennan's snacks versus Zach got like the big domino display. Like it felt very much like we're learning about these people and seeing who they are as they pretend to be other people. So I really enjoyed that specific level of contrast in like how authentic the spaces were to the people versus how inauthentic the premise of the episode was. That juxtaposition was really working for producer Liz's brain. I thought that was really smart.
And also just like the logistics and the budget of pulling that off. Like how much time did they have to actually build those within those hotel rooms before? Like a hotel room in Los Angeles is already ridiculously expensive. And then you have to have all of the pre-production to build that. Then you have all of your on-camera time. Like this is a finale. We are pulling out all of the stops. They really did the thing.
They did. They really did the thing. And also adding in early check-in fees.
Yeah.
Early check-in fees. Let's just talk about that. Like 8 rooms, $100 a minimum per room. So anyway, that's where my head went, was how early in the day did they pay to be in there? But anyway, Jordan, go ahead.
No, that they had 8 rooms, and I will say, like, one of the things I loved about Brennan's room specifically versus, like, say, like a Reka who had like mounds of pillows, like very clearly there to be like loungy and comfortable, and then Brennan is like on a bench, but he has a mound of snacks in front of him. I'm like, that tracks. Brennan doesn't want to like lay back and lounge. He wants to be like perched and eating. That is what Brennan wants.
Customized too. I saw someone say, I don't know if it was in the comments of as the time of recording, Dropouts just posted on the Game Changer Instagram like Zach's character preview or intro, Zach's character intro, and I think it might have been a comment on that post. Someone was like, Zach is a cat. Like Zach's whole setup reminds me of like a cat. Like he had the dominoes to knock down, the way he was like perched, like and like leaning, like a cat would like perch and lean in and out. I was like, that's very, very funny that they designed these sets to like get physical reactions out of people as much as like the emotional verbal reactions that they're getting. Like you're seeing people perch, you're seeing people lounging, you're seeing people like all over the place. Very, very intuitive. We talk a lot about how Dropouts able to design specifically to their talent because they keep bringing them back, and that investment is worth its weight in gold. This is one of the episodes of any of their series that you're seeing that investment pay off in a way that the Circle never could. The Circle can't build these custom sets and have them connect to the audience the way that Dropout was able to build these sets, and immediately we can build connections because we have the layers of humor from all these seasons of shows that they've given us. Speaking of layers of humor, one of my favorite things about this episode was seeing the cast members crack each other up, and specifically Brennan and Allie and Zach cracking each other up the whole time. That was so endearing to watch. Were you guys as enamored with them as I was?
Yes, it was Grandma Sweetie. Every time Grandma Sweetie would say anything, everyone was like, that's a really solid joke. That's really good.
Yeah,
like all these people are so proud of their friends and they don't even know it.
Yeah, I think Brennan said that. I think everyone said that about Grandma. Brennan, I feel like, said that about the side table as well. Of like,
yes,
it's a good joke. Just like the joke writer in them has taken over, and they're like, game, respect, game. That's a good joke. So funny. Yeah, I could not get enough of Zach. I was so sad when he was first out, and then so happy when he got to keep playing. I was like, I was afraid like it was the end of Grandma, because I just wanted her to continue to send in not emojis. Like, so funny.
Have to admit, if y'all know where is it? Right there. My Crown of Candy dice. Spoilers for Crown of Candy if you haven't seen Crown of Candy. The pen dying. Okay, we're back. No more spoilers. I was immediately triggered with Zach's. Then I was, okay, he's still in the game. That's great. That, yeah. They really baited me with that one. I'll be sending in a check for therapy. Sam, please send it back. But I thought it was very funny the way that like Allie and Zach specifically have their show that's coming to Dropout Presents. All of these cast members perform all of the time together. Like, it's not like they don't know each other's senses of humor, and yet they can make each other laugh that authentically in a set like this. It was very, very funny to watch. Loved it. Did anyone have a favorite character or a favorite moment from the episode?
I have to say, I mean,
my social security number is.
Yeah. So funny.
So good. I think my favorite thing, well, actually I have two favorite things about the episode because I can't listen to a prompt and answer it correctly. My favorite thing within their dynamics was honestly, as a Total Forgiveness fan, watching Grant and Allie continue to guess each other for every character back and forth. Grant guessed Allie like 4 times or something for 4 different people. That was just really enjoyable for me. And then the game of Brennan playing, what is it, Bug with a huge ass?
Bug with a big ass.
Bug with a big ass.
Bug with a big ass. Like, creating a character that is so obviously Reka and playing as Reka, creating a character as Brennan is just like masterful gameplay and like,
of course,
again, game changer at its peak.
Yeah, I really loved. So I saw someone like everyone else. This is not my own idea, but it made so much sense when someone was like, everyone else made characters to like throw everyone off of just
Mhm.
like, who could this possibly be? And Brennan very specifically was like, no, you're going to pick Reika for my character, and it will throw you off from thinking that it is me. And it's such a clever and interesting mechanic to just be like, no, this is the joke that Reika would make. Everyone will think it's Reika, including Reika.
Oh, when they cut to Reika, and he's like, that sounds like me. I was like, oh no, Reika, like, come on, let's get it together. So funny. So funny. I really loved the moment where they revealed the whole cast. I was disappointed actually when they did that specifically. I was like, oh, I liked the game of them not knowing who else was playing. But then they cut to Jess being like, oh, I love everybody. I was like, that's so wholesome. What the hell? And very connective to Jess being the showrunner for THOUSANDAIRES. I feel like that direct tether of just loving everybody so much and show running for a show that's literally about loving your friends so much that you would spend $1,000 to make them laugh. It felt very full circle to me there. And then the other piece that I really loved was watching Katie self-manage in real time, being like, no, Katie would say that. Don't do that. I'm a new person. I can't say that. People will know it's me. And I really think that Katie immediately understood that in a way that even some of the others, like even Brennan, it took a few minutes for him to be like, okay, wait, no, like I have to like pivot because like they're gonna know it's me if I go first.
Well, like, I mean, even later, the two truths and a lie, the I'm repped by Gersh, I'm not repped by Gersh, very much a Brennan answer, not a Reika answer. Although Reika is very sharp like that, but it felt like I'm fully going into gamesmanship mode here. And it's like, oh, that's a Brennan answer. I don't think anyone caught on because it's a good joke, and some people are just like, that's a good joke, and no one was thinking like, oh, that is what Brennan would do. He would launch into like accidentally revealing himself because of his competitive nature.
Did anyone have a favorite moment that was related to how they were cutting the episode, whether it was the narration or the quick cuts back and forth? Like I feel like it added so much to the way they told this story.
Truly all of it. The transitions took me out. They were so funny every time. I was like, oh, and now we're gonna cut to commercial. No, we're not. This is Dropout. But I loved it every time.
It was great. Jordan?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, I certainly see why this episode got delayed 2 weeks.
And thank God, because I appreciate what they've done.
Yeah. Oh boy, I don't know if there's anything. I mean, it's the like the show on the screen of like the text messages that come in, and then the quick cut to like several people like reacting to it. Got me every time, because every time it was them laughing and commenting about how great it was, how delightfully like, sweet Grandma Sweetie is, like perfection. Also, we do at some point have to talk about Jess Ross playing a wrestler before going on Smarty Pants to say that wrestling is drag, right? Like, this clearly filmed first. Otherwise, people would have been like, no, that's Jess Ross.
I did have that thought. I was trying to figure out how they couldn't place that wrestler and Jess were so deeply connected. But yeah, you must be right, Jordan. They must have swapped the order of filming. Let's quickly rapid fire through some of the characters. So we've talked about how much everyone loves Grandma Sweetie, crowd favorite. Jess, the wrestler landlord, hysterical, especially hearing Jess say the lines out loud and Jess's like very sweet voice, and then the way it comes across to the other players, like night and day said versus how you read it. Very, very funny. I personally think Allie as Brennan, menacing, absolute menacing move from Allie Beardsley. I don't know why I expected anything different, but hysterical. What did y'all think of that performance?
I mean, it's obviously good enough to really bother Brennan. Just like, I'm gonna have to talk to my therapist about this. And then the bird thing, and he's like, it's gonna haunt me till the day I die. So good. I love how much I hated Grant and Katie because they were both just so despicably terrible. Absolutely delightful. Also, like the thing I think I was most shocked by is when Allie figured out because Grant's karaoke song was Bette Midler, and Allie was like, "That's a gay man," which was very funny. But then that they didn't immediately be like, "And that means it's Grant," shocked me. That they were like, "I think it could be," and then I think they guessed a not gay man for it afterwards. And I was like, "No, Allie, you had it. You're taking notes."
You were right there. You were right there. Yeah, 100%. Very funny that the prompt was to create like a larger than life character, and Grant and Katie both went with like these men that like won't take any shit and won't take no for an answer kind of types. Like I'm like, oh, that's interesting that we went two in that direction, and then in the complete opposite direction you have Bug with a Big Ass and Side Table Walnut. Like you have completely opposite interpretations of where to go with that. This is a format I'd like to see Dropout bring back with future casts and iterations. I'm putting it out there. I feel like I would watch this very happily every season of Game Changer. Or make it a game samer, in fact.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
I don't know if they can afford it, but yeah.
I don't know why once we got The Bachelor and Survivor, I hadn't considered that the like broader reality game show world was up for grabs when it makes perfect sense. Like, obviously it's going to be The Circle. Like, should we do Love Island next season? Like,
not Love Island in the villas. Just put them around a pool for like, you know how they had the little like blow up pool during Grant's Bachelor? Like, just bring that back and set everybody in their little itty bitty outdoor area. Predictions for part 2. Are we getting 3 episodes of this? Yes, I think so.
I think it was just 2. It was 2 parts.
Yeah. Last week we said there was 3, so we're revising this week. It's just 2 parts.
I think it's just 2
that at all. Yeah, they said it's 2, so I assume it's 2.
Great. Anything we're predicting for part 2?
Oh, it's 3 episodes because immediately after is the Make Some Noise premiere.
Yes. And thank God. Make Some Noise is back. Yeah. I've been rewatching not to go on a side tangent, but I have been rewatching Make Some Noise just to like refresh myself on some of the jokes that repeat themselves from season to season and the casts that are coming back. And if you're not rewatching Make Some Noise, I highly encourage doing so before the new season starts because there's so much that I've forgotten. So that's what I've been doing this week. That's my homework to all of you, is to get back on the Make Some Noise train. Jordan, they did post last week. You called out the complicated country lawyer, and they just reposted that one like today.
Someone's watching my stuff. They posted a bunch of Ross stuff right after I was like, "What does Ross do?" And they're like, "Here's the Macbeth one." I'm like, "All right, I just posted my interview with him."
Excellent.
I'm ready for my bold prediction. Are you ready? Katie doesn't win, but someone buys Katie a billboard with their winnings.
Oh,
I like that. I like that a lot, as Sam says on Make Some Noise. I like that a lot, Jordan. I think that's good. So who do we think's gonna win?
Oh, I have no idea, because I do think it probably is.
I think it probably is Katie.
Right?
She's racking up the points already, and she's got that billboard. So the writing's a little bit on the wall, but I don't care. I'm having so much fun watching it anyway.
That's such a fun, like, such an incredible thing is we've seen the billboard, and the fact that Katie, like, if Katie had been eliminated immediately, I'd have been like, oh wow, what a twist. But like, she's so far, not ahead of everyone, but just like crushing the game so far. And I was like, I think Katie's going to win. And I don't care because this is so much fun. And also, I'm still not convinced Katie's going to win. Like, it's like
they say there was
wild
2
show.
There's 2 billboards.
Yes.
So I think Katie's winning the favorite cast member billboard. I think that's the red herring, and that the billboard of the person who actually won is the one that we do not know. That's my bet.
It'll go to Game Changer Live at the end, and they'll pull the curtain down on the billboard, and we'll find out.
I think so. So I'm going to go real different direction, my prediction. I think Reika's going to win. And it's not because Reika's going to do a good job of hiding, like behind the character of Adjustable Side Table Walnut, but Reika started real strong. And now that the list is confirmed of who's playing, she's got it. I'm feeling the energy. I think Reika's going to pull through and just connect the dots, get to the end. That's my bet. I think Brennan is gonna like get real to like overthinking about some of it. So that's my prediction. That's my prediction. Marissa, do you wanna go a different direction as well?
I don't know. I gotta say, it's really frustrating watching them guess people correctly and then change their answer and then be like, no, what? Yeah, I think Reika has a good chance. Jess is still in the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Jess is perceptive too.
Did Katie get confirmed?
Katie, yes.
Katie
Sam gave her one right
Allie
answer.
playing as Brennan. Allie
That's it,
playing
yes.
as Brennan. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only reveal so far. And that, I guess they all know who's playing now, but they know that Zach
But I
was
mean,
like,
what a huge get to have, because I mean, Grandma Sweetie's still going to be playing, so they're still presumably going to be guessing on Grandma Sweetie,
Mhm.
even though Zach can't win. But yeah, that what a huge, just I have 3 points locked in every round because
Yep.
Allie is Brennan.
Yeah.
yeah, huge, absolutely huge.
Seems
Also-
statistically like Katie's gonna win, but
Yeah. Also, I'll say less bold prediction. Eric is going to be even hornier in the episode 2.
I gotta say,
yeah.
as someone who lives off of tacos as a full food group, I really supported the taco conversations in this episode. I really felt that in my gut. That felt, I feel at home watching Dropout TV. And Sam, you can soundbite that and use it as much as you'd like. With that said, do you want to talk about Thousandaires?
Oh,
Hell yeah.
yes.
Let's talk about Thousandaires. I'm so thrilled by this episode. And I posted a TikTok a while back when they first announced Thousandaires, saying I always go into new shows skeptical. And I was very skeptical about Thousandaires, not because I had any doubt in the people behind it, but just as a premise, I feel like it's hard to watch that if you have not watched other Dropout properties. Like if you're trying to see people laugh and do silly things and you don't understand the relationships they have to each other, I was like, I don't know. I wasn't sure. How, if I was going to feel like left out because they all know each other and I'm like a viewer watching all these people have fun, or if I was going to felt brought in to the moment. And I felt brought into the moment so wonderfully so, even with the context of having watched other Dropout shows. I had a ball of a time. Jordan, did you have a blast?
It was so much fun. Yeah, beginning to end. I know we briefly mentioned the giant dress. I also bonus shout out to Vic for getting the Smosh Dropout crossover that everyone I know has so desperately been craving, and I don't understand it all. But oh boy, were people excited! Also, huge shout out to Angela for posting. I don't know if you saw on Twitter where someone was like, "You're on Dropout," and she's like, "Has that aired?"
Yeah.
Like just amazing. But yeah, it's so much fun. Yeah, I mean, I think we maybe even talked about it when we talked about the show coming up. That when I talked to BDG, he said, the thing that Dropout does really well is they build the relationships of the people on set, like the cast, rather than trying to build like a parasocial relationship. They're building an actual social relationship. Shows like Dirty Laundry and obviously Thousandaires. And boy, did that come through of just like, yeah, it is us watching 5 people have a great time without a thought in the world for us. Like, this is for the people that are here and it's going to delight them. But yeah, I think because it is so earnest and so like wholesome, it felt really nice to watch, because you just don't, I mean, look, not a whole lot of TV is like that, is it? Where it's like, hey, this is just going to be 5 people who love each other very much, trying to delight and surprise the other people on the couch with $1,000.
Yes.
And then also, obviously, you get the thought in your head of like, all right, if I had to delight my friends with $1,000, what would I do? Because how could you not? And I don't have an answer, but it's a fun thought experiment.
It's a great thought experiment. And as someone who has spent not $1,000, but a couple $100 to get myself to Chicago to visit Marissa to see the Eras tour, I know how I would spend my money. I would just book a flight to come see all y'all. But anyway, that's just me knowing that that's an inevitable part of my life, is that it costs about $1,000 to go anywhere from Canada. So my idea of fun is just doing things that people like to plan to do anyway, like maybe seeing your friends once. Marissa, talk to me about your thoughts on the episode. Where are you chiming in on this?
I have spent a lot of time thinking about the budget breakdown per experience because I truly don't understand how Vic only spent $1,000 on that. Like I don't understand how you commissioned a song, flew a sibling, and paid the SAG minimum for several people, all for and rehearsal time. Like truly, as a person that works in theater, I don't understand how you could do that for $1,000. But I was very impressed by it. Deserved to win by far.
Yeah.
Especially because it was said that, like, Vic positions it as, I spent my $1,000 to fly down my sister. And in my head, I went, well, why wouldn't you use, like, airline points for that? And then spend the $1,000 paying for, like, SAG minimums for the people coming in to do it. Like, of all the pieces of the puzzle that felt like where you could cut costs, it's the flight that you're now saying you spent the $1,000 on. So I had some questions there as well.
Maybe Vic played the game even smarter than we thought and knew that if they were coming on Dropout, Dropout would have to pay SAG minimum. And so they were like, well, look, I've brought performers in that said they would do this as a friendship bonus for me, but they're on your show, so you got to pay them.
Jordan,
That's
Brown.
pretty good.
I don't know how you get $1,000 to stretch that many people. Also, apparently, they gave the 3D printer to whoever wrote the song, I think, because
That's nice.
that person apparently would use it more than them, but delightful.
That's
also,
great.
how wonderful at the end of that when they're like, I got a 3D printer, I'm going to print hands for everyone. Just like immediately we got the reaffirmation of like, but this is still about friendship here.
Very
also,
sweet.
We simply have to talk about Lisa Gilroy.
Yes.
Including a pain aspect of hers. Like, it's not going to be all fun. It's also going to be mean to amuse everyone else.
It was, listen, I've said it. I've posted it publicly on all of my platforms that Vic and Lisa are my Tina and Amy, but more importantly, that their work together on Very Important People, Canadian Comedy Hall of Fame. So when I saw them both on the couch, I was like, oh, strap in, Liz. This is your bread and butter. And I was not even a little bit disappointed. Like, those two are trouble. Cast them in a heist movie immediately. Like, they should be getting calls to just do whatever they want together anytime they want. In love. I'm in love with those two.
So good also to include, like, the meanest one of, like... Vic from the future, you're a year out from making your worst decision, wearing Vic's clothes. So funny, just to be
hysterical.
Like, no, the person I'm closest with on this couch, I'm going to be the meanest to.
Such a good funny. Choice. So good. Can we talk about the dress? Because the dress is extremely Marissa coded. Everything about that entire, and Marissa, I want you to explain, for not just for Jordan, but for everyone watching who may not know you, just how Marissa coded that entire segment was.
Well, first of all, let me say, Marissa, it looks like you're coming out of the top of the dress with what you were
exactly
wearing.
Listen, I love the color pink. I love frills. I love ruffles. I love dresses. I love historical dresses. I love the Nutcracker. I love the lady in the Nutcracker that has all of her kids come out of her dress. I love sleepovers. I love prank calls. I love Truth or Dare. I
have very famously said that Marissa's apartment looks like a Disney Channel set. When you go into Marissa's home, it literally looks like the set of a TV show. It is so well decorated and vibey and colorful. The inside of that dress felt like Marissa's apartment to me. It was like copy paste.
I felt very at home there. I was like, oh, I could enjoy some time here for sure.
Now, at what point of the prank call, Jordan, do you think Brennan clued into what was happening?
Look, Brennan probably had Giovanni's number saved in his phone, and so knew the moment it rang of just like, oh, this is going to be something. This is a person who doesn't normally call me, but I have their number. So, yeah, it was either, I don't think because some people were like, he recognized their voices. I don't think he recognized Lisa. She changed her voice too quickly and too well, as she is so capable of doing. But I love so much. It isn't even about when he figured it out, because obviously at some point he did. It's that Brennan is so yes and E that he knew it was a prank and just kept going with it. Of just like, they transferred him to the drink. Like Lisa says,
Drinking
your piss
department.
stinks, so changing you to the drinking department. And Brennan just stayed on the phone. And he's like, well, that's not how the first person explained it to me. And also, you're out of network, so how did you get my piss? Like, just such wild energy of like, yeah, I understand it's a prank call. I'm going to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. So good. I also have to figure out, like, we have to figure out collectively through our various interviews, like, when did they film that episode? Where was Brennan? Right? Like, was Brennan working on Dimension 20 in like the set next door and he gets a call like, hello? And he's like, not right now. Or like, I love thinking through all these like things like what was happening behind the scenes when they made that choice. I have a very hard opinion here that I think the dress should have won the episode. Love Vic, loved the musical, but the dress was so out of the box in comparison to some of the other pieces of that episode. I was like, I truly never would have thought to do that. Like, of all of the things to do, I kind of could have like predicted rock band. I kind of could have predicted like make your own play come to life. Never would my brain have put together what Giovanni did. So I was blown away by it.
Yeah. It was magic. And obviously, like, including the interior of, like, and it's a slumber party interior. So good.
Shout out to the camera crew. Shout out to the camera crew who made that kind of, like, GoPro-y thing happen. Oh, I was in heaven watching.
I do want to also give a shout out to Jacob, though, for hiring the band whose name I instantly can't remember. I feel like the word load is in it, though. And like, because clearly he was like, here's $1,000 to a band I like. Like, that was clearly what, like, because then afterwards I saw him on Reddit being like, everyone should go follow them. They're great. Just like promoting the band. Like, so delightful of just how they spent their money as well. Because presumably, outside of Vic, there was craft to be built, and presumably they were hiring the like Dropout folks to be like, all right, build me a giant dress, or like build me a time machine that electrocutes my friends.
I did love when Jacob said he just wanted to bless the homies. That's what he said. I just wanted to bless the homies. I'm like, so wholesome, so good. Versus, I know in future episodes we have like goth makeovers. Another way to bless the homies, like a very different interpretation of that. Another thing about this show, Dropout's branding across the board is impeccable, but what they've done with very important people and with THOUSANDAIRES in terms of having such an immediate life to it just feels so like wonderful. I don't have another word for it. It's just, it's so electric to see these sets come to life and so embedded in TV history and TV culture. Like, it's just such an ode to the medium. Makes my nerdy heart sing. Loved it.
You know, I will say, like, I'm sure all of the hosts are great because they're all very fantastic, but boy, did they pick a good, like, Jacques is such a good host and like does like the monthly comedy improv with a lot of the Dropout folks anyway, but like obviously is there to like build, and like him bouncing between people to be like, what do you think? Like to Vic, like, what do you think Lisa bought? And the like became a mayor of a small town, very funny also. But he's such a good choice for the first episode to be like, here's such an incredibly charismatic host for you to like really fall in love with the show as a concept, as also you are delighted by the things that the cast members did.
100%. I think that this game changer finale is going to leave a lot for us to debrief next time it airs. Is it next week or 2 weeks from now?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Brutal. Sam, give it to me now. Just kidding. It'll be a fun one to debrief in 2 weeks' time. But we'll be back next week talking about everything else we've missed in this very short and snappy episode of the Dropout Drop-In. So if there's Dropout news you want to hear more about, shows that are airing that you want to hear us talk about, feel free to leave it in the comments. We'll see you next time, friends. Bye.
Bye-bye.